Hello, everyone. Welcome again. My name is Tuche, and I'm the marketing manager for Selling Partner App Store. Thank you for joining our webinar today. At Selling Partner App Store, we are continuing our webinar series with our software partner, Helium10 today. As you may know, the Selling Partner App Store is a one-stop shop for Amazon selling partners to discover more than 2,000 trusted apps to help grow and manage their business. Today, we have Bradley Sutton, who is the Director of Training at Helium10. Helium10 has been a long-time partner of Amazon, and we are pleased to have Bradley with us today to share Helium10's insights into product scouting and listing optimization strategies to help you grow your Amazon business. During the webinar, please feel free to type your questions on the chat box, and we will be answering them in the live Q&A session following the presentation. Without further ado, I now give the floor to Bradley.
Hello, everybody. How is it going? Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you to everybody else out there for coming here today. I'm very excited to share this information with all of you. I myself am an Amazon seller too, and we're going to talk about some strategies that I've been using in my own accounts and other sellers I know have been using to crush it on Amazon. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right, hopefully you guys can see it here. The talk is entitled Key Product and Listing Strategies to Help You Grow Your Amazon Business. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of this presentation, there's some of you who might not know who I am. My name is Bradley. As mentioned, I'm the Director of Training here at Helium10. I also host the most listened to podcast in the world for Amazon sellers, the Serious Sellers Podcast. It's a free podcast out there that reaches over 100,000 Amazon sellers. And before I worked here at Helium10, I actually was a consultant, and I launched over 400 products for other sellers on Amazon. And I have over 20 years of e-commerce experience. And like I said, I myself am actively selling on Amazon. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that I'm in your boat too. You know, I'm not some software salesman or something here. There's not going to be any pitches that I'm going to be giving here. I'm a seller just like you, and I'm going to be talking about what's been working for me and people in my network. So what are we going to be going over today? We're going to have like a three-prong approach here, because these are the three pillars, in my opinion, for having success on the Amazon platform. And number one is product research. You know, whether you are a brand new seller looking for your first product to sell, or you're a very experienced veteran on Amazon, you know, you're looking for your 20th product to sell, you know, product research still plays a role. And we're going to have something that no matter what level of Amazon experience you have, you are going to be able to get benefit from this. The secondary aspect is keyword research. You know, this is so important because, you know, you could have a great product, but if you don't have the right keywords in your listing and optimized, you're not going to maximize your sales because people aren't even going to be able to find your product. And then lastly, listing optimization. And again, it's the same theory here. You know, I could have the best product in the world. I could have the best keyword research I've done, and I have, you know, amazing keywords that none of my competitors know about. But if I don't properly optimize my listing in order to be optimized for both the Amazon algorithm and buyers' purchasing behavior, well, the greatest product in the world, the greatest keywords in the world is not going to get me sales by itself. All right. And so we're going to be going over each of these three things from three different viewpoints. Number one, we're going to talk about just Amazon-based tools. That means these are things available in your Seller Central or on Amazon's website. You know, you don't even need to get another tool for these things. You all have access to it right now as Amazon sellers. The secondary thing we're going to be looking at is looking off of Amazon. You know, sometimes we can get inspiration from outside of Amazon in order to get insight that we can use on Amazon. And then part of this is we're going to show you, and I know a lot of you are already Helium10 users out there. And so I'm going to show you how to leverage some unique aspects, you know, not just the bread and butter aspects, but some unique aspects that I think even 90% of our own Helium10 members do not know about. So these are the three different ways we're going to look at each of those three aspects, which are product research, keyword research, and listing optimization. So let's go ahead and get started with product research strategies. All right. The first thing I want to set the stage here is just what's the main principle. We're going to do this for each of these three things. What's the main kind of, in a nutshell, how can you define great product research? And I define it personally as effective private label product research is when you look for something that's in demand but has indications of little or underperforming competition. This is important. Amazon is different. It's really important that we talk about existing demand. I could have the best product idea in the world. Like I've got some headphones right here next to me, and let's say these headphones all of a sudden had something come out of the side and gave you virtual reality glasses or some like amazing thing that maybe everybody would like. That doesn't mean I'm going to have success on Amazon, because there's probably zero demand for that, because people don't know it exists. People don't know that headphones with a virtual reality goggles that come out of the side exist. So in that sense, it doesn't really matter how amazing my idea is. If there's no demand on it, we're kind of setting ourselves up for failure if we try and launch that on Amazon from day one. So what we're looking for is, hey, where's their existing demand? But at the same time, there's not that much competition. It's not a saturated market where there's a lot of sellers on there. Not to say that you can't sell in a saturated market. Many people have a lot of success in that, but it's always best to go enter somewhere that has a low barrier of entry. So let's first talk about how we can do that using Amazon's tools, all right? Using things that are already available to you. And the one thing that I love to see is, or love to use, is Product Opportunity Explorer. Hope you guys have access to that. Almost every Amazon seller should have access to the Product Opportunity Explorer. It's in your Seller Central dashboard. And the one tool or the one metric I'm going to talk about right now is the last column in there, which is search conversion rate. This is something that's not necessarily available in Helium10 or other tools. Like, this is only available in Amazon Seller Central, and you guys should be taking advantage of it. Let me illustrate with an actual experience of how beneficial this is. So the top screenshot that you guys can see here is from collagen peptides related keywords, right? And you can see these have a high search conversion rate. So for example, that first one you see there, or the second one, let's say vital proteins, collagen peptides powder, it says that in the last 90 days, it's had about 90,000 searches, so like 1,000 searches a day. And then it says it's about 17% conversion rate, which means that, hey, every time or every day out of 1,000 people who search or for this keyword, hey, there's about 170 people actually buying something from those search results. All right. These numbers you see on the right-hand side here, 17, 16, 15, 15%, these are actually pretty high numbers. All right. Now take a look at this coffin shelf related keywords at the bottom. The average for the main keywords are about 2 to 3%. Sometimes that's a little bit more average, which means like, hey, out of every 100 searches, maybe 2, 3, 4 people purchase it. Now, what I was doing, we actually sell coffin shelves on Amazon. That was a case study that we did called Project X, where we discovered this coffin shelf and we put it up on Amazon, and we've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of this product. Now, what we were doing was we were just like trying to look to expand that market. So I put in coffin shelf into Product Opportunity Explorer, and then I noticed this keyword. Everything had like 2, 3, 4%, but then coffin bookshelf at the time had less than 1%. It was like 0.5% conversion rate, which means out of 100 searches for this keyword, not even one person, barely one person, would actually buy it. And so this is what you guys should look for in your niche. If you find this, that means that people are not really finding what they're searching for. And so when I actually typed it into Amazon coffin bookshelf, I realized, wait a minute, there are no actual coffin bookshelves in the search results. They're just regular coffin shelves. So it made sense why people were not buying a product after searching this keyword. So what we did, we made a larger size coffin bookshelf or a coffin shelf. And sure enough, right away, we got to the very first position in sponsored ads. We got to the very first organic position because we were the only product that actually met the customer's need. And we sold out of this in about 2 and 3 weeks. It got to here at the top of page 1. So this is a great way, using an Amazon tool, Product Opportunity Explorer, to get ideas on how to expand your brand, or even just randomly search in different niches that you're not in yet, and look for keywords that have high search volume but a very low conversion rate. And it's many times a great indication that there's opportunity, that the buyer's needs are not being met. All right, let's talk about looking off of Amazon. Again, this is a 3-prong approach to each of these that we're going to be going over. And here on the left is a search on Amazon for egg holder. What you see here is a lot of plastic, egg holders. There's like one metal spiral one, but there's a theme here of what seems to be popular on Amazon. What I then did is I looked on other websites off of Amazon, namely ones that, have to do with like handmade products and things like that. And the reason why I did that, and I also looked on other websites that are mainly just images, collections of images. On Amazon, sometimes it's about 4 or 5 months behind the actual trend is when something gets launched on Amazon. And the reason is because if we have a product idea to sell on Amazon, what's the process? We come up with the idea, we then go try and source it, maybe in another country, we get samples back and forth, we tweak it, they actually produce it for 30 days, takes 30 days to get here. It's about a 4 or 5 month process, and and those are the trending things on Amazon. But what happens on these other websites where it's mainly, handmade items and things like that? If there's something that's trending, they can sometimes get it up, kind of fast, very low scale compared to Amazon, but they can just, get it up on their website because they're just making this stuff in their garage, or something. We don't want to put stuff we make in our garage on Amazon, but other websites, they can do that. So what happens is if something gets trending, you can actually get a little bit ahead of the game by looking what's trending on these other websites. And so that's what I did on this website. On the right-hand side, I put in the very same search term, egg holder. This was about 8 months ago. I did this as an actual screenshot. And what did I notice? On this website, I see a lot of wooden egg holders. And not only that, it's like there's at least 3 listings here where it's kind of like a stackable. I don't know if you guys can see, like a stackable egg rack or a stackable egg holder. So I was like, on Amazon, I don't see that yet. So what did we do? We went ahead and made a stackable egg rack or egg holder. And sure enough, immediately we were page 1, position 1 for this product as one of the only ones there. And now there's more, but we were way ahead of the game from other Amazon sellers, is because we looked off of Amazon first to see where this upcoming trending demand that I knew was going to get on Amazon, where the buyer's eyes and attention really was going. Another product, we sold out in just 2 months because, again, we went to where there's demand, but there was not that much competition. All right. The third aspect of product research, how can Helium10 help? We have a lot of tools like Black Box that has over 2 billion products in our database. A lot of you Helium10 users are very well aware of how to use Black Box for product research. But this is a screenshot of our tool called Market Tracker. Now, let me tell you, those of you who use Market Tracker, you might be thinking, wait a minute, Bradley, do you even know your own tools? That's not a product research tool. That's an analytics tool. And that's right. The Market Tracker is kind of designed to measure your share of voice and to measure, how your product is doing in your niche or sub niche. All right. And so I discovered, though, a way to use to have product research in this tool. How so? Well, the way this tool is designed is you throw in your product and some of your main competitors' products and what your main keywords are. And then what Helium10 is doing is we're going out there and trying to see if there's any new movers and shakers in your niche, so that you don't have to go searching on Amazon every single day just to see if there's, somebody new who launched or who's maybe going for some of your keywords or showing up at the top of search results, etc. So what we do is if we find one of these that might be a mover or shaker in your niche, we'll put it here and then say, hey, do you want to track this person or not? Right? So that's the main functionality of this tool. But take a look at this. So this is my coffin shelf market that I have. And if you notice down here, the first one that it's telling me, hey, do you want to track or ignore this, is a makeup coffin shaped holder. Now, I'm going to actually hit ignore on this. I don't want to put this in my market and start tracking them because to me, they're not my competitor. Like my coffin shelf is different than something that somebody puts makeup in. But guess what? This brand that I'm selling coffin shelves is called Nanny's Mysterious Oddities. And obviously we're marketing to people who like coffins. I don't know what kind of person likes that, but hey, good on you guys, right? Don't you think that a person who would buy a regular shelf shaped like a coffin could possibly want a makeup holder that's shaped like a coffin? Makes sense, right? So this could be a product line extension possibility for me. All right, look at some of these other ones that I never would have maybe thought of. Here is a letterboard, a coffin shaped letterboard at the bottom. Again, I'm going to hit ignore on this in Market Tracker because I don't think I'm going for sales against this product, right? So, but guess what? Again, if I'm selling coffin shelves, I bet I could sell to the same customers coffin-shaped letterboard. So this is a great way if you're already in a certain niche, whether it's egg holders, whether it's coffin shelves, whether it's collagen peptides, use Market Tracker to give you ideas on potential ways that you can expand your brand for products that are obviously in demand. So make sure to use that for your product research. Now let's talk about some keyword research strategies, and let's again first define this. All right. So what I want everybody to do is right now just say out loud. I can't see what you're saying, but what's the last thing that you bought on Amazon? Think what's the last thing you bought on Amazon. For me, it was a screen protector for a new phone. All right, that we got from my cousin, or it's actually a used phone. Right now, it didn't come with a screen protector. Now, think back to whatever you were buying on Amazon. What was that need first? That's the buying process. There's a need that comes up. Well, my need was, hey, we got this new phone. It doesn't have a screen protector. I know we drop this phone a lot, or drop phones a lot. I need a screen protector. Now, at that time that I had this need, right, an image in my mind came up of what would fulfill that need on Amazon. So I obviously knew the general shape of a screen protector is going to cover the screen. I knew I wanted it to be tempered glass, that in my experience, I knew that good ones cost between $20 and $30. I already had this image in my head of what would solve this need, right? So what's the next step? The next step is I transfer that image in my head into a keyword or a search term on Amazon. And in this case, it was like iPhone XR tempered glass screen protector might have been what I chose as my main keyword. And then the last step of the buying process is I look at the search results and then I just see whatever hits that image in my head, which solves my need. I hope if you guys were visualizing this process for the last thing that you bought, hopefully it's something similar, right? But that's the main process. And so keyword research, as defined right here, as I define it, is when you look for all of the potential keywords that a person who might buy your product would use in order to find it, or in order to match that image that is in their head, right? So this is important because sometimes we just base it on what we would use to search. But guess what? There are millions of Amazon Prime customers out there. They do not all purchase the same exact way. They do not all use the same keywords to search for the same thing. I search for iPhone XR tempered glass screen protector. Somebody else might just search for iPhone XR screen cover. Another person might search Apple XR screen protector. I mean, there's so many different combinations of words that people can use. But if you don't have all of these potential combinations, you're not going to be visible to potential customers. Let's go ahead and start with how to use Amazon tools in order to do this in a unique way. So there's a lot of tools out, even Product Opportunity Explorer that we talked about you could use. But in this sense, I want to talk about brand analytics and how you can use historical values here. Very unique. Again, you can't do this in Helium10 or other tools by looking at what was the top keywords for a certain product in a historical sense, right? Brand analytics is one of the few ways that you can do this. And this is available if you're a brand registered seller on Amazon, you have available to these brand analytics. So why historical searches is valuable is, right now it's August, right? Maybe I want to sell a winter mitten or winter gloves. Well, the keywords that now are trending for winter gloves and the products that are selling well, it is not a great representation of the main keywords that's going to happen in November and December, or the main products. Probably most of them are out of stock. So what I would do is I would now, here in August, use brand analytics and go back to like November, the month of November of last year, the month of December, and then look at what were the main keywords in relation to winter gloves. And then I would find the main products, and then using that same time frame, put the ASIN of that product, the identification of that product, into brand analytics and see all of the top keywords. So this is important when you guys have a seasonal product, or you're about to launch a product maybe 3, 4, 5 months from now. Make sure to use brand analytics to find the keywords that are trending during the peak season of sales for that product. Let's talk about looking off of Amazon. There aren't Helium10 tools for other websites out there that you might be using, so you might not be able to have an estimate on who gets the most sales. So if you're on this website here, or on any website, the best way to get like just rough ideas of the sales is by looking at the reviews. A lot of times there's like around, I just consider myself a 10 to 1 ratio. That means there's probably, for every review that comes in, maybe there's at least or for every sale that comes in, 10 sales, there's probably 1 review only. All right. So then what you want to do is you want to look at products where they have a lot of recent reviews, and then you just kind of multiply those recent reviews by 10, and that's the number of sales that maybe they'll have. So once you do that, for example, look if there's anything on the bottom of the page that says explore related searches. All right. If you see that on another website, explore related searches, what this means is these are the search terms that these sellers are putting in the back end of their listing as the main keywords. This is not an algorithm that the website itself is putting out there. This is actually the sellers putting in their main keywords. So how would you use or when would you use this for keyword research? Well, if you're going to launch a product that's already existed on Amazon, there's a couple good sellers, you can use tools like Helium10 to get the main keywords. But sometimes, like when we were launching our coffin shelf, we were like the only coffin shelf on Amazon. There wasn't really a bunch of main competitors that I could go in and try and see what was working for them. There wasn't brand analytics where I could go in and see a long history of main keywords that drive sales for coffin shelves. So what I did was I looked on other websites and just took what was trending there by looking at this this feature of explore related searches, and then at least I had a starting point to know what are the main keywords that I can use. That gives you a leg up on the competition, who might have to just do experiments and find out their main keywords through PPC over a few months of time. But me, from day one, we had the best keywords already for coffin shelf. Let's talk about using Helium10. All right. Now, my favorite tool in Helium10 is Cerebro, and I'm sure many of you out there use Cerebro a lot. But here is a little known feature that is good. The main function of Cerebro is to, hey, show me the keywords where, not one of my competitors, but, 4 or 5 or 6 of my competitors, they are all at the top of page 1. Then it's obvious that this is a super important keyword to your niche, right? What I like to do is I like to use this feature called opportunity keywords. This is a feature that is just allows you to click once inside of Cerebro and Helium10, and then it finds you these so-called opportunity keywords. And what this means is it's looking for the keywords, not where everybody of the main competitors are on page 1, but maybe only 1 or 2 of them. Like take a look. I don't know if you can see this example, but here in these coffin shelves, here's a keyword, witchy room decor. All right. And there's only 3 out of the main competitors that we had put here are ranking for it. Not only that, only 1 of them is on page 1, position 11. The other 2 are like position 200 and something and 300 and something, meaning they're like on page 5 or 6. Now, what does this mean? This means that if I am trying to compete on this keyword, I'm only having to compete with 1 of my main competitors. It could be that the rest of the search results on page 1 might be irrelevant to that keyword or irrelevant to the buyer who is looking for a coffin shelf. So these are great keywords to look at. Again, it's still important. Step 1 still should be to find the most relevant keywords to your niche by looking at where all of your competitors are, or all of the sellers, they're all on page 1 for it, because that means, hey, this is a highly relevant keyword. But look for those kind of low-hanging fruit where only 1 of your competitors are doing great on this keyword, and it's going to allow you to more easily get to page 1 on it, whether we're talking sponsored or organic placement, and then more easily get sales because you are only going for the visibility to your buyer. You're only competing with 1 other person or 2 other person. Let's talk lastly about listing optimization strategies. All right, what is the main concept for listing optimization? Well, I put here effective private label listing optimization is when you create a listing that is optimized both for the Amazon algorithm and for the best chance of conversion for your target market. All right. So this is important because some sellers, they get too laser focused on one over the other. Right. For example, now that there's tools like Helium10 out there, now that there's amazing data points in Amazon like search and query performance and product opportunity explorer and amazing things there, sometimes we can get too focused on these like metrics, like character limits, or relevance, relevancy scores, or what's the average rank and things like that. And then what we forget is, at the end of the day, yes, these are important to be optimized for the Amazon algorithm, right? But at the end of the day, that matters 0% to a buyer. What buyer, like when I was searching for those screen protectors, I'm not looking at titles and like, what, this title has 248 characters, not the suggested 251, so I really don't want to buy this screen protector. What, this collagen peptides has a relevancy score of 30. This other one is, and buyers couldn't care. They couldn't care less about these things, right? So we as sellers, we do have to put some importance, but we have to remember at the end of the day, we are trying to sell to a human being, all right? And the things that are important to them are not always important to the Amazon algorithm, and vice versa, all right? So we have to find a good balance. Let's talk about how to do this with Amazon tools. This is, again, I'm not doing basic stuff here, guys. I'm doing like the kind of things that I would say 90 to 95% of Amazon sellers are not doing, all right? So there's tons of basic things that Amazon tools can do for us. Here's something a little bit more advanced, but still pretty easy, all right? A+ content. How many of you sellers out there are using A+ content, all right? Hopefully everybody who has brand registry, all right? So you might be thinking, well, okay, I'm going to do A+ content to get better conversion rate. But one thing that sellers might not realize is how many visitors to Amazon are Spanish speakers, for example, Amazon.com. And there is something on Amazon's front end of the website where at the very top right of the search bar, I believe, you hit this drop-down menu, and what you can actually choose Spanish. And then what that does is it translates the Amazon listings into Spanish, and then that Spanish speaker is now viewing, titles and bullet points and things in Spanish. Well, A+ content is kind of separate than that, all right? So what you need to do, everybody, is go into your A+ content section, if you already have it, and then check on the related contents tab, as you can see here, and then make sure that you have a Spanish translation active, all right? And if not, you got to hit this create language variation. Let me show you how this looks. Here's our coffin shelf listing. On the left-hand side, this is our A+ content module. By the way, I hope you guys saw that announcement yesterday or 2 days ago or 3 days ago in Amazon Seller Central. Premium A+ content is now available to many sellers. So if you want more information on that, go check your news feed in your Seller Central dashboard. But anyways, I'm talking about regular A+ content here. On the left-hand side, we have a nice looking A+ content. There's a picture of our coffin shelf. There's some text there and everything. And on our listing, put this Spanish translation active. So what you see on the right-hand side is if somebody went and hit that change Amazon to Spanish mode, this is what they see. They see the exact same A+ content, but now it's fully translated into Spanish. Now, let's show you another coffin shelf listing. On the left-hand side, there is a coffin shelf listing, and they too have a pretty nice A+ content. They got a nice image, they got some nice descriptions there, et cetera, et cetera. Now, on the right-hand side is the exact same product detail page, the exact same listing. But what I did was I changed the website to Spanish, just like I did on mine. This seller obviously did not do that 5-second task of hitting the create language variation, because look what happens. Their entire, not just the A+ content disappears, they don't even have a description there. It's pretty ugly of a listing right there, because they did not just do that simple thing of making sure that their translation is active. So everybody out there, after this webinar, go into, if you have A+ content, make sure that you have that Spanish available, because there are tons and tons of individuals here in the United States who use that Spanish translation filter and search and browse in Amazon in Spanish, and you're missing out on potential sales if your listing is not optimized for them. Now, speaking of the different ways that people use Amazon, everybody has different browsers, right? Like I personally like using the Amazon mobile app. Some people like the desktop going on Chrome. Some people go on the Safari on a mobile. Some people do use desktop and they use a different browser like Firefox. And what we don't realize sometimes is that all of these different browsing scenarios and different browsers and different computers and things like that it's going to be a different experience. The different way to view the listing, So when we're optimizing our listings, we can't just like look on our own computer and say, okay, this is what everybody sees. No, it's very different. Sometimes, bullet points show up first on mobile and sometimes it doesn't show up first. So you've got to know, how does your listing look in other websites, especially on mobile, because on mobile, like titles sometimes are truncated, meaning that it's cut off a little bit, and you can completely change what, somebody's picture of what the product is if you get cut off or truncated at a certain part of the word that changes it, right? So what I like to do is I use this free website called Browser Stack. All right, Browser Stack allows me to go ahead and enter in a URL like my listing on Amazon, and then just pick different browsers, and then make sure that for most of the main browsers, like mobile app and Safari and Chrome and Firefox and desktop and mobile, make sure that your listing looks pretty good both in the search results and on the actual page of your listing in these different browsing scenarios, and then change your listing based on what you see there. Let's talk about using Helium10 now for listing optimization. On the left-hand side, this is a screenshot of Seller Central when I hit edit listing for our coffin shelf. And you'll see their search terms. Actually, this now has moved and it's called generic keywords. But another thing that is completely missing here that used to always be here is the fields called subject matter. Now, subject matter is historically a great way, a great real estate place to put some of your main keywords. It's one of the best places in order to get rapidly indexed or searchable for certain keywords. And so we've always taught that, hey, make sure to fill up your 250 characters of subject matter, because it's going to give you good visibility. It also sends relevancy signals to Amazon that, hey, this is an important keyword for my listing. But as I just mentioned, as you can see here from the screenshot, it is not there anymore in the edit listing for many of the listings, right? On the right-hand side, this is the Helium10 tool listing builder. So on Listing Builder, we actually still have the subject matter there. And if you hit this button, sync to Amazon, all right, sync to Amazon, it's actually going to put subject matter there, even though you can't see it. And you might ask, well, how do you know it's working? I've tested a keyword that I'm not searchable for, I'm not indexed for. I'll stick it into Listing Builder, put it in subject matter, sync it to Amazon. 20 minutes later, I'm searchable for that keyword. So this is a great kind of like hidden strategy of that kind of gives you a benefit. Those of you who are using a Helium10, make sure to use Listing Builder and sync there and fill up that subject matter with some of your main keywords or keywords that you're not indexed for, and usually it's going to help you get indexed.
Well, Bradley, thank you so much for that very insightful presentation. I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the Zumba dance. But you
are you going to be there? Are you going to be dancing with us? You just kind of committed to it. You're going to have to come on stage with me for everybody there.
Maybe we'll see. But yeah, besides that, you really provided us with some really great insights on how to optimize listings and the key strategies and product scouting. So I personally learned myself a lot. So there are similar questions on this. So I will be asking just a couple of questions in one question. So is Helium10 only works on Amazon.com? Is it available in any other countries? What are the tools that are available in the which markets?
I see that question comes from Reiko Yamada. So 質問がありがとうございます、Reiko さん。はい。Amazon は他の country は大丈夫です。Okay. Anyways, what I was saying in Japanese is that yes, Helium10 is available in other countries, including Amazon Japan. For one, Amazon Mexico, Canada, all of the European marketplaces, Amazon Australia. So we have the coverage in all of the main marketplaces for almost all of our tools, and some tools are newer, or it's newer, like Amazon. Poland is fairly new, so maybe only a couple of our tools are currently working there. But yes, we're working in all of those countries.
Perfect. That's very, I think, good to know, because we have a lot of sellers who are selling in the US, but also selling in other regional markets. So that's going to be, I think, really beneficial to have that information. There's a question that says, what's the exact menu on Amazon website to find the best keywords? I think that would be, once you have a brand registry, then you would have the brand analytics. They would have access to brand analytics. And there's a question about the product. I think you showed Bradley. What was the title of that column related to similar competitor keywords?
Let's see. Well, if they were talking about the market tracker tool that we were talking about. So first of all, that was market tracker, and they're just looking for the ones that Helium10 find where it'll say track and ignore. If they were talking about the product opportunity explorer, the column that I was looking at was the search conversion rate. There is the one to find similar keywords. So one tool was from Helium10, the other was from Amazon. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you for addressing that. What is the name of the indexer resource called?
If you're asking like how to check if you're an index, we have a tool in Helium10 called, I didn't really allude to it much, but I just kind of loosely did, I guess, index checker. That's in Helium10. So that's allows you to check if something is indexable or not. Now, the field in Amazon that I was mentioning that can help you get indexed, that's the subject matter field that still some listings have on the front end of the listing, but others you have to use Helium10 in order to populate that field.
Okay, great. So there are also some questions about using data and privacy, I think. So does Helium10 use our data? How does it get its data? Can we trust it?
Yeah, so it's for you. You know, like we use our data and then return it to you in different ways that you can see. So, but if you're asking about like the keywords, like that's not using seller or our user data. That's just showing what's publicly available from Amazon.com. But for your things like, maybe you're concerned about your own sales or your own digits, that's 100% private. Only you have access to that. We just take those reports from Amazon, put it into your Helium10 dashboard so that you can see it in different ways. Like, for example, we have a tool called inventory maps where we're checking where we're running those reports from Amazon. And then now we're showing you a map of all of the Amazon warehouses where your inventory is stored at, so you know where it's at. Nobody else can see that. Like, only you in your dashboard can see that.
Okay, thank you for addressing that. I think that was a question that many of our sellers had in mind. So pricing. So how much do you charge? What are the available options? How does the pricing work?
Yeah, so we have, for brand new sellers, we have something called the starter plan. It's about $39 and includes our training course. We have an 120 module training course on how to get started selling on Amazon, and you have access to that and our Chrome extension, which has 5 different tools. Our base plan is called Platinum Plan, and it's $99 a month, and it includes access to pretty much every single one of our tools. We have over 40 tools. I only showed you today 3 different tools, but we have actually over 40 tools in our suite that cover anything from Amazon attribution to a tool for running your PPC ads that we call Atomic, to a follow-up tool that helps you to send request the Amazon request to review feature. We have tons of different tools, and you can get access to almost all of those with our Platinum plan. And then we have a Diamond plan for more advanced sellers, and that includes like our advertising program called Atomic, and that's $249 a month.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Do keywords have to appear in your title, keywords, and description, or can they appear in only one of these spots?
That's a great question, Crystal. There. So yes, to get a keyword searchable or index, which is what you want to do, technically speaking, you only need it to appear once somewhere. And then when I say once, it doesn't have to be in phrase form. Let's say your keyword is, what was that one we had, like witchy room decor, right? Let's say I had the word witchy in my title and room in my bullet points and decor maybe in my back-end search terms. Theoretically speaking, I will still be indexed or searchable for the phrase witchy room decor. However, again, talking about optimizing for the Amazon algorithm, you send more relevancy signals to Amazon when you have that in phrase form. So for my most important 10 to 15 to 20 keyword phrases that in my research I've done, these are the top keywords for my listing. I try and get those actually in phrase form in my listing at least once. Like maybe my top 2 keywords I'll put in my title, and then the rest of them I'll just try and have in phrase form. And then the rest of the keywords I find, sometimes you might find 500 to 1,000 relevant keyword phrases. I just take the individual words from those and just make sure they're at least once somewhere in my listing. We have a tool for that as well, something that helps you do that. But yeah, hope that answers your question, Crystal.
Thank you so much, Bradley. So next question is about again targeting. So how to target specific keywords such that we get on page 1 organically?
Absolute best way is through Amazon PPC. You don't just show up magically on page 1 when you start a listing. However, here's one little trick is look for keywords where in the search results, not many of the page 1 search results have that exact word in their title. And so there's actually a way to do that inside of Helium10. We call it title density. If you can find a keyword that only maybe 1 or 2 or 3 products on page 1 have that search keyword in their title, but you do have it, you're going to get to page 1 a lot faster. Regardless, though, if this keyword has a high or low title density, PPC is the way to go. You can do a high bid, show up there at the top of the page, and then hopefully people, when they see your product there at the top of the page, start buying it. And what's going to happen with the Amazon algorithm is that sends signals to Amazon like, hey, this is a very good product for this keyword. Then they'll push your organic page ranking up on page 1.
No, thank you for that insight. Okay, next question is about an apparel category. So for soft lines sellers, this could be interesting. So for the apparel category, do parent titles index for keywords, or is it mainly the child ASINs, which include size and color, that are indexed?
Well, regardless of the category, the way it's always historically worked is all of the keywords that you put in your parent listing should be indexable throughout the child items. But then what sellers do is, if they have multiple variations, fill in some of the other child ASINs with extra keywords that have to do with that product. Now, sometimes there's not that many keywords to do. Like in the coffin shelf niche, for example, I have a pink coffin shelf, a black coffin shelf, and a purple coffin shelf. The number of keywords that people use to search and find these items is very small, so I don't have to use my child items to try and get more real estate. But if you're in a very competitive niche, that's one of the ways that you can get indexed overall for more keywords, is by using some different keywords in your child listings, regardless if it's apparel category or home and household or whatever category.
Yeah, thank you for that. Apparently you do speak perfect Japanese, Bradley.
Thank you,
That's
Reiko.
one of the comments. Yeah, this is an interesting question. Could be tricky, but Cassandra said that I was speaking with someone yesterday and they mentioned that I should use unrelated keywords with high search volume within my listings to rank higher. Is this true or recommended?
Yes and no. All right. In the general sense, like, hey, if I just use irrelevant high search term, does this help me? And the basic answer is no, absolutely, it does not help you at all. But where it does help you is in related searches. Like, for example, I was showing you guys coffin shelves. Well, there's a high search term that's somewhat related. It's called Gothic decor. It's actually searched for way more than coffin shelf. Now, is my product is that a specific keyword for my product? No, but it's a very high search term and it's somewhat related. A coffin shelf kind of is a Gothic kind of decor item. And so having these keywords that aren't directly related to your product, yes, you should try and put those in your listing. But let's say I have this coffin shelf and I notice that collagen peptides has 300,000 searches. Is that going to help me to put collagen peptides? No. First of all, Amazon actually does not want you to put completely irrelevant keywords, because that actually manipulates the search and browse experience. And then potentially you could be showing up for stuff that's not good for you. And Amazon doesn't like this. We as sellers buyers don't want this. We want to see relevant search results. So you can actually do this to a point where it's against Amazon terms of service. So don't just throw in random keywords just because they have high search volume, but look for ones that are at least loosely related to your product.
Yeah, I think this was a great question and a great answer, because that is true. We should always seek for related categories and related keywords, but nothing that's absolutely, I think, different. are there updated tactics for keyword research on the Freedom ticket, or is it a different place to go and find the updated tactics?
Yeah, so the Freedom Ticket, that was that course I was talking about that is available to all Helium10 users, and that was just recently refilmed just a few months ago, and we're constantly updating it. Like actually, next week we are completely changing out all of our shipping and logistics modules, so with brand new information. So that, yes, that is up to date, and then when things change on or off Amazon, we'll go ahead and update that course accordingly.
Okay, thank you so much. So there are some questions around arbitrage. Are there product research tools for arbitrage? And another question, I'm doing FBA arbitrage. How can Helium10 work for me?
Yeah, so the ones that would work for our arbitrage and wholesale stores, and I myself do sell and have done some arbitrage and wholesale on my own accounts, is of course X-Ray, the Chrome extension, which estimates sales and allows you to check the inventory levels of other sellers. Our alerts tool, will tell you how many people are trying to get the buy box. We have our profits tools, that's important. Our inventory management tools you'll be able to use. Our black box product research tool, you can, like, for example, put in a storefront name and then see all of the products that they're selling, or put in a brand name. Like maybe you have a wholesale list from Nike or something like that. Well, you can just put Nike in there and see what are the top selling products in Nike. So yes, our main user base, I would definitely say, is private label sellers, but we have as part of our customer base, wholesale sellers who are doing over $100 million a year on Amazon. So it's definitely for wholesale and arbitrage sellers as well.
Okay, thank you so much. What is your suggestion on how to select 250 characters in search term in Amazon Seller Central?
For me, for my search terms, what I'll do is I will put my maybe top 3 or 4 phrases in there, as long as I'm not duplicating any words, individual words. And then the rest of the search terms, I'm putting in words that I found in my keyword research that don't really fit in the front end of my listing. Namely, for example, Spanish keywords. Some of my top Spanish keywords that I find using Helium10 Cerebro, I'll put in there because it doesn't really make sense for me to put it looks weird for a Spanish word to be in the front end of a listing. I'll also put in the back end misspellings, again, because I don't want to put a misspelling, even though it's a high search volume and obviously people use this misspelling. I don't want to put that in the front end of my listing, because all the people who do know how to spell, they'll be like, look at this seller, they don't even know how to spell, why would I trust their product? So that is something that I would put in the back end search terms as well.
Okay, thank you so much. So there are some questions around listing. First of all, does Helium10 help with only listing optimization, or does it actually help with listing the products?
Yes, so that was a tool that I showed you, a listing builder. So I mean, you have to do all of your keyword research, whether you're doing it on Amazon or in Helium10. But once you've compiled your keywords, we have this tool, listing builder, where it can make sure that you are using the actual keywords that you find somewhere in your listing, and it'll tell you how many times you're using it, and it'll have the title and bullet points and description all separated, and then it actually syncs to your Amazon listing.
Okay, there's a similar question around that. Should we add them manually, the listings, to our Amazon seller account, or can we use Helium10? So I guess that's...
Yeah, it's for initial, you need to make the ASIN first inside Seller Central, but so just create the ASIN, but then you can populate the ASIN with the actual text fields using Listing Builder.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so there's again a question about the translation. I originally had Spanish terms in my backend, but as Amazon translates, so this might not be needed. What it sounds like, you think this is beneficial?
So there's 2 different things here. First of all, you can't guarantee that the automatic Amazon translation incorporates all of the main top keywords that you found. So that's important to check that. But also, again, we're talking about how the Amazon algorithm works with relevancy, and it's more impactful if that actual word before translation is already in there, as opposed to if it's just if you're just indexed because Amazon is translating it. So overall, you don't have to have every single Spanish keyword there, but always like the top 5 to 10 Spanish keywords, I make sure I have those in my listing, either in the subject matter and or search terms, just to make sure that I'm sending those relevancy signals to Amazon.
Okay, thank you so much. So if I'm launching a new product on Amazon, what do you recommend to make sure my listing performs well from day one?
Yeah, from day one, again, make sure that you've got all of your main keywords there and that you're indexed. Sometimes you might create a listing, you'll have your keywords in there, but for whatever reason, Amazon doesn't index you. So before going live, make sure that you are indexed for all the keywords you want to, and then you might have to re-optimize your listing and move something to the search terms or subject matter if you're not getting indexed. And then another little trick I do to get the most bang for my buck on PPC is I try and relate my product to the frequently bought together that aren't directly competitors of my product. For example, if you were to look on our on a coffin shelf listing, what are the frequently bought together? And I'm just talking about what shows on Amazon.com product detail page. You'll see weird products like a skull-shaped ice cube mold or a bat-shaped shelf, right? You might think, well, these aren't necessarily competitors, but Amazon is actually telling you, hey, there is a history of people who buy coffin shelves and they're buying this skull-shaped ice cube mold at the same time. So what I do is I look at what are the top keywords for that skull-shaped ice cube mold, and like 3 or 4 of those top keywords I'll put into my listing to make sure that Amazon kind of relates me from day one to that product. And then that's going to help me when I'm running PPC, product targeting and other ads. I'm going to start showing up on that skull ice cube mold where maybe all of the other competitors that are targeting that product with PPC product targeting are just other ice cube molds. But then all of a sudden you're going to see a coffin shelf now on that listing because I'm targeting that, and Amazon relates me to that. And that means I kind of have a great leg up on my competition. So making sure that you're indexed for all your main keywords, starting off with a bang from day one on really great targeted PPC, those are things that can help you from day one.
Thank you so much for sharing that. How do you tell if you're indexed before your listing goes live?
So if you don't have Helium10, one of the ways you can do that is by just going to Amazon and putting your ASIN in the search bar and then put a space and then put the keyword and then see what comes up. However, this only works maybe like 60 or 70% of the time. Sometimes you might not show up there, but you still are indexed. Now, if you have Helium10, you just put the ASIN and all the keywords into this tool called Index Checker, and we're actually checking that method, and we're checking 2 other ways to make sure you are searchable. So those are some different ways with or without Helium10.
Thank you so much. Okay. What are some of the common mistakes you see new sellers make when they identify a product opportunity and attempt to launch it?
One of the main ones, like I said, is they get too caught up with metrics and the Amazon algorithm, and they don't remember that they're trying to sell to a buyer. So one of these things I didn't actually talk about today that fixes that is studying the reviews for how you can make an emotional connection. So yes, find the most relevant keywords and the highest search volume and all these metrics. But then what I like to do is I'll use a tool called Review Insights from Helium10, and it'll show me on any other listing what are the main phrases that are being brought out in the reviews of that product. And especially you'll get some great insights if this product has 1,000 or 10,000 reviews. And so the example I always like to give is for collagen peptides. If you were to run our tool on collagen peptides, you're going to see that the main keyword that everybody mentions in the reviews is not collagen peptides, it's not collagen powder, it's actually in my coffee is a phrase that like 10% of all reviews have. And so if you dive into it, you'll see that everybody who's leaving reviews is talking about how they use collagen peptides in their coffee. Now, in my coffee is not a keyword that will ever come up in Product Opportunity Explorer. It's not going to come up in Brand Analytics. It's not going to come up in Helium10. And the reason is it's not a search term. Nobody searches in my coffee and they think they're going to get collagen peptides in the results. But it's what everybody is thinking about, or a lot of people are thinking about when they're trying to buy this product. Is like, hey, I want to buy this and I want to be able to use it in my coffee. So then you take this kind of data, which again has nothing to do with Amazon algorithm, has nothing to do with search volume, etc., and then use it in your listing. Like in your main bullet point, you should talk about, hey, this easily dissolves in your coffee. In like your second or third image, have a lifestyle image of, husband and wife or something on the breakfast table, and they're reading the newspaper, and then there's coffee, and then there's like, the collagen right next to you. You're making an emotional connection with your buyer because they're going to be like, wait, that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I need this product for. And then that gives you a little leg up on your competition. So don't make the mistake of only trying to do heavy keyword research and don't have insights into your buyer's mind and why they even want to use the product.
Thank you so much for sharing those. Yeah, we are almost at time, and I do some questions around like more specifically around A+ content, and we will be having a specifically A+ content dedicated webinar on end of September. So please be on the lookout and Seller News and newsletter for that. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for attending our session. As Selling Partner App Store, we will continue to host these webinar series to address the key seller challenges, and they will be announced on Seller News and newsletter, so be on the lookout. And thank you so much, Bradley, for being a part of this with us and collaborating with us. We really enjoyed and we really learned a lot from you, so we appreciate
Thank you so much for having me, and I'll see you on the Zumba Floor and Sound Scale Summit.